Hello everyone. Thank you friends for joining today's session. So friends, today we'll continue with the chapter 6 of the book Conversation with God. Yesterday we went to chapter 5. We understood the different path. What is the right path to reach the God? So today also we'll learn more about this in the chapter 6. So let me share the slides. The chapter 6 is suffering not required. It talks more about whether suffering is necessary, is it required or not required, and is peace possible in every moment. So is suffering the path to God? So even yesterday in the chapter, we understood the different paths. So what is right and what is wrong? So ultimately we learn every path leads to the God, but what we feel inside, that is true to us, right? That we should follow our inner voice. And the path to God is within us. When we go within, we will reach to the God. It's nothing there in the external things. So for that is suffering required. So here the author says many people believe suffering leads to God. In different spiritual teachings also they say, right, if you experience joy and all, so that is not good. Through suffering, through pain, only we can achieve the God. That is spiritual. If you are going through suffering, pain, that is spiritual. Otherwise, if you're enjoying your life, then that is not quite good. But that's not true. There is a lot of religious conditioning and belief system we have, right? Here author says those are not required. Suffering is actually not required. So here he says suffering is not necessary, and it is not, true also. And it's not, many people feel, that is required. So it's not compulsory also. So it is harmful and unnecessary. So not a part of divine design, and it is mostly misunderstood by humans. So the question comes, right? If it is not there, then why we experience this? So we see suffering everywhere. Then if suffering is not necessary, then why we see that and why we experience suffering? Right? The question will come ultimately. So here the author says, the events happen, the situations happen. The suffering doesn't come from the events or the situations or from the people or anything. It comes how we see them, how we take it, or how we interpret that situations. That's why suffering comes. So it doesn't come from the situations or from the pain. Pain is common. Everyone will have the pain, but do we need to suffer? It's in our hand. It's not given by the God. The two people in the same situation, one, feels very bad, he feels low, he worries why this happened. It should not happen in this way. But at the same time, the other person, he feels calm and relaxed. He accepts and surrender. So it's the same situation, the same, but how the two people react is different. So it's not necessary. It's just we humans we have created and we misunderstood that. So events versus reactions. So that's what he says. Events are neutral. There is no good, there is no bad. Everything happens for a reason. But how we take, how we, understand those events. So that's where the pain or suffering comes from. So reaction creates the suffering, how we react to that. Interpretation shapes this experience. If you understand, if you realize why this is happening, then we won't suffer. Until that, if we just keep on blaming, we suffer. So you have tools to respond. It also says we have enough tools so we can use them. Right? Have you ever faced any situation, stressful situation, but you handled calmly without, being stressful or without consciously, blaming others? You might have handled calmly. In some situation, there was a pain, but you didn't cry, but you got the strength and courage and you overcome that. So here the strength, the patience, the calmness, they're all the tools we already have, but are we using them rightly when required? Or we just say, I know everything, but when the implementation comes, we don't use them, we don't implement them. That's why this all pain, suffering comes. So why doesn't God stop suffering? And that's what the common question we all get, right? When it is not necessary, when it is not required, okay, if we humans are creating, then why can't God stop the suffering? So here he says events come from human choices, right? So whatever the situations, everything is happening based on our choice. In yesterday's chapter also we learned, right? So God work is to create. His work is creation. His work is allowing us to experience or to create the things. But he doesn't come and interfere in between unless we ask for or unless it is required. Whatever we create the situations or events, and then based on that, we face the consequences. So if we accept that, it is good. If we don't, if we stop and assist, then we, go to the pain and suffering. So it is in our hand, not in God's hand. So free will is not interfered with the God of free will, because if God stopped the suffering, then how can we grow? How can we experience things? Here we came to experience different things, good and bad, everything, right? If we don't experience any bad situation, then how come we know the good, the value of good, right? If we don't experience the pain, then we don't know the value of joy, right? The same way, if we don't experience darkness, then we don't know the value of light. So everything here is it's for making us strong. It's for our own growth. That suffering, the pain comes because it makes us hard, it makes us strong. So we need to go through. If everything God stops accordingly, then there is no free will, right? If there is no free will, then we have only one choice. We always do right. Then what is the point? Then why we came here? We came here to make, different choices. It's not mistakes or it's not, wrong choices, but it's everything is based on experiences. We should think in that way. We should not judge whether it's right or wrong, but everything is part of experience. If we go for a movie, we see there is action scene, there are, good moments. Everything is together is a movie, right? If only it's a good, positive movie, then also we feel bored. If it is too much violence, also we don't like it. But when everything right combination is there, that's how we enjoy it. The same way for the life also. The collective consciousness shapes the reality. Right? When everyone feels in the same way, when every human, then the collectiveness will shape the reality. The cause and effect also applies. So what we create, what we think, then we have to face that, the consequences. The misunderstanding of suffering in silence. So people always think, silence, when we go through pain or suffering, everything should be in silence. We should be calm and we should go through the pain. We should not blame. We should not, express much of it. Well, that is not true. So different what he says, masters or spiritual, those who are in the spiritual path, they don't really suffer. They might have hardship, they might have a lot of situations, they might have painful moment, but they don't judge. They might have going through the situation, but internally they have that calm, they have peace, they have surrender. Don't judge, they don't suffer because they take it as an experience. They don't judge whether it's right or wrong, why it's happening to me, and they don't give much attention to their thoughts and emotions also. They always try to be neutral. That's why they don't suffer internally. They observe without labeling. Awareness removes suffering. So when we are aware, when we are mindful, then we don't go into that pattern, right? Or the suffering pattern, the thinking, feeling loop. We have learned many times from thoughts, we get feelings. Again, from feelings, we get thoughts. And again creates, and we create more and more of that. If one situation might have happened, but thinking constantly about it and recollecting some more past events, then we are giving more and more energy and we are creating 10 different similar situations for ourselves. When the first situation comes, if we just take it, accept it neutrally, being patient, then we avoid more of similar situations because we give energy, we create it, we think about it so much that we create more and more events. So when we are aware, when we are mindful, then we remove the suffering. We don't create such events. We break that pattern. That repeating pattern, we break it immediately. So consciousness and awareness is very important. So attention creates the reality. So when we focus, right, when we are aware, then it strengthens the experience. So wherever we focus, whether on the positive things, negative things, it gives energies to that. We should be mindful. What you pay attention, it grows. Right? When we place attention and the thoughts on the right thing, what we truly want, then we get more of that. So words and thoughts create reality. This thing we are constantly, this part is repeating in each and every chapter. Most of the time we have heard words and thoughts create our reality. So we should be very, very mindful and think about it. So conscious force reduce suffering, right? When we are consciously, we are aware, and when we focus on our thoughts and attention on the positive things, on the right thing, then we don't create any situations or we don't create pain. Even though we have the situations, we be mindful. We don't react or we don't judge. Right? Try to see it as an experience. That's it. So judgments and expectations create suffering. So when we judge anything, good or bad, positive or negative, then it limits the joy. Then we cannot experience. So life is joy, sadness, everything it comes, right? It's part of life. So expectations create disappointment. When we expect too much from people or situations, right, or family, then ultimately the suffering will come. Social conditions also influence the belief. So whatever the conditions, the family traditions or different conditions in different religion things we have, so they all cause the limiting beliefs also. They also influence our thought pattern, what our belief system said, right? How we, take situations. So everything is based on that. So letting go creates the freedom. Instead of blindly believing each and everything when we question them, when we question our belief system, when we are aware and mindful, and when we let go of what is not required, then the transformation happens. So experience is the ultimate truth. It says, don't believe, don't blindly believe. So whatever we are learning, whatever we are hearing from others, so they are helping us to some extent. But ultimately, we need to experience. See, someone has experienced something, we feel happy when we listen. But unless we experience that, we cannot fully understand. We cannot express it. We cannot actually feel it. So experience is very important for everything. So live and experience. We came here to live and experience different things. So how can we experience that? When we completely surrender, when we live in the present moment, we can experience things. Truth comes from awareness and personal realization matters. So everyone has their unique, everyone has to experience their own truth, inner truth, right? The outside world, we can share our experience, we can motivate each other, we can together, do satsangs and all. But ultimately, experience is very important for each individual. Then only we can believe. Then we can actually come into the spiritual path. Unless we experience, there'll be always some doubt or we cannot 100% trust anything. But again, it doesn't mean you have to completely rely on experience. It will come, but you need to be patient also. Again, if you be impatient, why I'm not getting certain experience, then again, you're giving focus to the negative part. So just be positive and trust, and then do what is right, then definitely you will get that experience. A higher possibility for humanity. Here author says world is shaped by consciousness, right? See, our individual, our situations, right? It impacts our own, life, what we think, what we feel. But as a collectively, whole family or a whole community or city, the world, everyone individual thoughts, but again, it will work as a collective consciousness. So today, whatever we are experiencing, it might be, as a, natural calamities, the wars and everything, because somewhere the people have thought about it. As a collective consciousness, we have created the situation of war, all these things. Somewhere it's there in people. They have thought or they felt about it. It's not about the world, but individually, everyone has that, the revenge, that anger, the jealous. When more people have this, then what happens? It will come out as a war or any of these natural disasters that ultimately leads to human, suffering, or the situations will come in that way. So love versus violence. So what we choose. When more people, shift their consciousness, they come into this path, they realize the truth, they shift their awareness, and they, change their thoughts, then what happens? Then ultimately, we see more love and compassion in the world. There is a possibility of transformation and requires awareness shift. So for this to happen, the collective awareness has to shift, right? If one person change, it may impact few around him, but for the world, the complete world to change, then many people have to come and that the collective consciousness have to rise. So then the possibility of humanity, a higher possibility that most human grow spiritually. The earth will move into the 5D dimension, fifth dimension, we say, right? Fifth dimension means earth dimensions are not changing, but the people awareness and consciousness is shifting. That is the ultimate meaning. So, friends, the key takeaways from this chapter: suffering is not necessary. It comes from how we respond to what happens. So any situation, the way we see, the way we react, that's what causes suffering. You cannot truly control events, but you can fully transform your experience to awareness. Right? We cannot control what will happen or how it will happen, but how we react and how we take it, that is in our control. So what you focus on, judge, and expect determines your reality, right? Any situation where you focus your energy, how you judge, how what you expect from it, it creates your reality. So be more mindful about it. And some of the reflection points reflect from this chapter. What expectations are causing disappointment in my life? Now just think what in which situations or where you are expecting from people at work or anywhere. Is my focus creating peace or increasing stress? Where I am focusing my energy onto? Where I am judging situations instead of understanding them? When we understand situations in a higher meaning, right? If some suffering or something is happening, we might have thought knowingly or unknowingly, or somewhere in the past we have done consciously, unconsciously, we might have given pain or suffering to some people, and now we are getting back. In either of the way, if we understand, then we don't suffer. The pain will not be there. So, what tools do I already have and that I'm not using? As we said, we have a lot of tools the patience, love, strength, everything is given by God. So, what I have, what is my strength, and am I using it or not? So please check about on these points and reflect. So, thank you, friends. I hope this was helpful to all of you. Yes. Yeah. If anyone wants to share anything, you can unmute yourself. If not, we'll go into the meditation.
I think I just wanted to share one thing, Jay. I just realized um, being nice and being kind definitely is good thing. But if you see all the senior citizens, they're all like kind and like wisdomful, all those things. But sometimes I also think that due to age, like due to health, due to inability, there could be a reason that we are forced to be kind. Like you cannot fight or you cannot be angry with anyone if you're weak, so I'm just thinking, when we are able to do all those bad things at the time, if you are able to do good things, that is the real transformation. So when you are very healthy, when you are very powerful, when you have all the power in the world, all those things, but you are not abusing those things, but you're being kind at the time, seems to be the biggest challenge, and we have to follow that. So when you're capable of doing bad things, we should do good things and be kind, is what I think I felt after this chapter. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely that is true, right? When we have everything at the time, we don't think, right? We just go with the flow because things are happening to us. We are not mindful or aware at the time. But if something happens, then we realize, oh, I should not have done that. I should have been more mindful. But that is true. That again comes from
Mhm.
awareness. Absolutely.
Right, yeah, right awareness. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Chandraji.
If I may ask you, is this which book is this? Yesterday I missed it because no, I couldn't come. Is it
Conversations with God.
Conversation with God? Oh, yeah,
Yes.
okay. I'm doing that one, so that's why it looks very close to my heart home. You know, this whole thing summarized, if you summarizes the whole thing, it will say, you are responsible for your own action. You are responsible for your own destiny. because we cannot do something, think something, and act something, and for the consequence, we cannot show our finger at the other person. That they told us, so I did it. You told me, I did it. That's a typical human nature to immediately put the thing, turn the table to the other side if it is not working good. But you know, Chandra sir was yesterday telling about the negative limiting beliefs, negative thoughts. They are actually doing good benefits for us. Then only we are going to, see there is something we have to correct ourselves. No, that's not correct. So we need to reprogram ourselves. Otherwise, as Purva was telling, if everything is good going, then it is going to be easy flow. It's not going to happen that way. Life is not that full of heaven and things. There are so many challenges every minute. And so in that, what I feel is, there are negativity, we think about it, we get jealousy, we get fear, we get everything from the other person. And also I like this thing, don't blindly follow. That's such a greatest truth. Don't blindly follow just because you are listening from others. Actually, somebody was telling that listening from others, nobody can train you. You cannot be trained and evolved by other person. You have to grow. It is your thing. It's nobody can teach you meditation. Meditation is teaching. They are giving us all the framework. Chandra sir is giving his whole soul and heart to us to understand. That's why it goes and touches our all koshas. That's where we are ourselves growing. It's not that we have to do we don't know certain things are happening. That's a mindset changes and all those things. I prefer this book. Is so interesting. Absolutely everybody should read this. It's like a Bible. I really loved it. Thank you. I'm glad I didn't miss it. Thank you, Apurva.
Thank you, Chandra. Yes, definitely a lot of learnings from this book. We know certain things, but I think the deeper meaning the book is explaining to a lot of us.
Yeah.
Each and every point has some meaning or reason. Yes.
Yeah, every point, every way.
The more and more if we, read or understand, I think we can understand the deeper essence and actually we can implement. Now,
Yeah.
when we do meditation, I think that implementation part becomes easier. Now we know immediately that awareness comes, right? What we are doing, why we are doing. Earlier, that awareness is not there. We just do things, and maybe after 1 week or 1 year, we realize. But now, immediately in few seconds or before even we react, that awareness is coming. So we are more mindful, and even the deeper meanings also we can understand and realize.
It's so down to earth, everything. If I just tell you don't do this, don't do that, nobody is going to listen. But it comes from the meditation, from the mindfulness. That's what it is happening. Thank you.
The realization or the experience, everything we should come from within, then only we can truly do, right? If someone says we can do for few days or few months, but not do for longer.
Did the wrong one. Have to do this.
Yeah. So good. Thank you, friends. So with this, let's get into the meditation. So friends, we'll be doing the breath mindfulness meditation. As usual, if someone is new, the posture is very simple as you're seeing in the picture. Sit comfortably. You can sit on floor, chair. Close your eyes and observe your normal natural breath. Don't forcefully inhale or exhale, just observe your breath. Why we always say observe the breath? Because the breath is always continuous, right? Breath is always happening. Breath doesn't have past or future. You cannot say that I breathed yesterday or I will breathe tomorrow. It's always happening. So when we observe the breath, it's continuous, right? We drop everything. It doesn't have any form, color, or shape. If we say, observe anything else, then everything has some color, shape, or form. Then again, the mind will analyze. When we say observe your breath, you will observe for some time, then your mind cannot analyze what color it is, how it is, right? Then what happens? It will become blank. That's what that emptiness. That is what the meditation state will go ultimately. But in between, thoughts comes. It's quite common. But if you get thoughts, don't go after it. Immediately bring your awareness again on the breath. Initially, you might have to bring multiple times, 5 times, 10 times. If you get thoughts, bring it back, bring it back. But after a few days, it will be easy. immediately your awareness will come and the thoughts will also get reduced. Initially, we might feel there are a lot of thoughts, but as we practice more and more meditation, the thoughts will get dissolved. Right? We can go into the empty state faster. And when we do together with a group, the collective group experience will help us to go deeper in the meditation. As we said, the collective experience, right? Thoughts and emotions can affect the world. Then when we collectively do that meditation, that energy, so much energy is coming, right? When we together do, that will truly help all of us. It will help to transform us. So group meditations are very, very important. It might be in person or online. So don't miss that. So friends, I'll play the music. So just follow and let's do this meditation. Dear friends, dear masters, sit comfortably, close your eyes, clasp your hands, fingers into fingers, observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath. Don't forcefully inhale or exhale, just observe the breath. As you observe the breath, mind becomes empty. Be with your breath, dear friends. Let thoughts come and go. Don't get distracted by your thoughts. Bring your awareness back to the breath. Go deeper and deeper into yourself. Experience emptiness. Gently bring your awareness back to the body. Feel any sensations in your body, dear friends. Recollect your experiences. What did you see or how did you feel? Now let's express gratitude. Be grateful to your parents, teachers, and mentors. Be grateful to plants, animals, Mother Nature, all the planets, the universe. Be grateful for this beautiful environment, for all the things we have. Whenever you're ready, slowly place your palms on your eyes for 5 seconds and then slowly open your eyes. Thank you, friends. Good night, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.